as we are one consciousness experiencing itself from these infinite perspectives, each one a single lens, each of us having that authority over our lens, and this dance and flow through the illusion of time and space. And so today, I got the selenite, putting my intention to speaking only truth. It's been a while since I've done that. It's a really nice one to do. I also like to set the intention that only truth is allowed to enter my bubble of my existence. And setting that as a filter, I find a really helpful exercise. And then it assists me to speak truth and also to hear truth, pure truth. It's a really nice one. Seems to be connected to peace and aligning with peace and only allowing peace into my bubble, unless I choose anything else, but my default being in peace. Here's a nice little crystal. Wow, I like the way the sun is really lighting that up right now. And it's just very soft and soothing, spherical, seems to be forming a spherical nature. It's got this darker crystal here. If you can see that part, kind of reminds me of tourmaline, but I don't think it is. But yeah, that crystal has been hanging out lately. And the selenite, it's octahedron, pyramid shape, vortexing the chi at all times. This really nice rose drink with beet and honey, lemon, lime, and rose essence. This is really one of my favorite spots, this Rose Vortex in Sedona. So, lots of great spots, and I'm so excited to share this with y'all. It's like Joule artwork. Let's just look at the artwork for a minute. My friend James has some French curves. So I was shifting the French curve and then drawing segments of it and then connecting them. So I wasn't tracing the entire shape, I was only tracing the aspects that I wanted to play with. And then I was just shifting it. It's like quite imperfect, but sort of enjoying the imperfection that comes from just working by hand with these things. So I'll work on that a little bit more. And then Planck, Planck came up in a big way, and I realized, wow, yeah, I have really yet myself to really look at Planck and really like wrap my consciousness around it. So let's do that together. And so we have the constant here is H. It's like, and I also want to draw your attention to H bar. This is this is like considered reduced Planck constant, but this is useful when we're working with like angles and movement through time and space via these angles, so angular momentum. And to get H bar, you take Planck, which is H, divided by 2 pi. But, starting here with this Planck constant and, really waking up myself, okay, what are we working with here? And it's a process, but I knew I needed to make this video together with you all immediately. So I'm just gonna read out what I had read and written here. So radiation such as light is emitted, transmitted, absorbed in discrete energy packets or quanta. And so we have the units as joule per hertz, which is apparently the same as joule second. And so we're looking at energy, electron, another unit that's used is the electron volt per hertz, electron volt second. So for sure I'm wanting to look into these, more and really get a deeper comprehension, but feels good to just introduce it to you all at the same time as it's coming in fresh for me. So here we have the energy E of each quantum, or each photon, equaling Planck's constant H multiplied by the radiation frequency, which is symbolized by the Greek letter nu. That's right here. So that's frequency. So we're looking at energy, Planck constant, and frequency. And then I was looking at the dimension that it's expressed in. It seems to be mass times length squared multiplied by time to the -1, which is the same as it being divided by time. So we'll look into that later, because these are sort of the dimensions, seems, of matter and time and space that this quanta of energy is being expressed. So we'll come back to that, but and I guess I want to go into this deeper, but I wanted to just show you all where I'm at. And yeah, the H bar, again, being a key way that Planck is utilized to look at movement across time and space and radians and geometry and things like that. So that's that. Let's see, this fun little pendulum here my friend Lassa gave me. Shungite. Sometimes just put it in my pocket. Shungite has that nice EMF balancing sort of action. And then another wand. And this, I think I got this in Colorado. They're like this really pretty flower, rose type shape. Just this dried flower. And then my friend, I think he said they're quail feathers. He found them all by a tree. And with the copper, really, really enjoying the energetic effect of winding this copper in these coils like this. So, and then it's gorgeous. I think it's juniper or cypress. Cypress, I think. Cypress bushes here. So I'd like to maybe wrap some copper or even string or yarn around this and just perhaps put a few crystals, but even without, it's kind of interesting having one without the crystals and just the copper, and just to see and certain, feathers and plant elements and see the different feeling. Sometimes we need breaks from crystals and they can move a lot of energy. So, although the cypress here, and I know we looked at this recently, but let's just check it out again. It's this nice, because I actually don't know if I really went into this, but in programming there's something called a binary tree. Yeah, I don't think I went into this, but so if you have like a decision tree and it's basically 0 and 1, and you have like the branches of a tree, it basically, it's sort of showing like, okay, binary tree, it's like creating a very simple structure using zeros and ones of the branches going like left and right, and I'll have to draw it out. I feel like if I draw the code version, then you can see it. It would be like the 1 is perfectly branching to the 2, and each of those 2 are perfectly each branching to 2 more, and so it grows. So this, I'm not sure if this grows perfectly like that, but it seems to be oscillating as opposed to being a perfect binary tree. So that is a programming structure, and we actually can learn a lot about our reality by looking at computer code structures. And one of the topics that came up yesterday that's kind of fun to share with you all is how in the programming world there is a software called GitHub, and it allows programmers, developers writing code to simultaneously work on a project and be able to merge their code to the larger project seamlessly. Now, what happens if there's code that's conflicting, and the system will basically say, hey, I can't upload both your code right now because it's conflicting with each other. So you all need to work it out. And they'll find a solution, come together and make the adjustments or write a whole new way, perhaps, however they need to do it. The human intention comes in to adjust the timeline. And it came up to me recently how similar that is to what we're doing, because that digital world is that attempt to replicate, create a mirror version of our reality. So looking at our reality and how we're like wanting to write stories individually for our own lives, personal goals, personal stories that we want to write, things that we want to achieve in our own lives, and then collective stories with our friends and our family and our loved ones and people that we want to grow with over time, and community and things that we want to do. So weaving our stories together seamlessly and like observing when, okay, this person wants to write this story and they're writing this story, so how do we find perhaps a third story that includes everyone and includes, it's like a harmonious way for us to all keep writing amazing stories together. which is essentially what we're doing as consciousness. So that just came up as something that felt like it wanted to be shared. I've also been working on a beautiful like number graph, and I feel like that's going to be a page in the book, just showing when you multiply all the numbers, like, you know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, all the digits by, you know, one another and themselves, what you get in this grid of patterns that start emerging, especially when you take anything that's more than just one digit and add it together to basically distill it down to a single digit, and doing that exercise and seeing the patterns that emerge quite beautifully, and seeing numbers as more of expressions of pattern, and kind of sort of shifting how we interact with numbers, and wanting to see the visual, wanting to see the spatial, what does a number represent spatially. And for me, I was telling my friend, like, really always bring it back. If I'm looking at a formula or anything, I always want to see what is that describing in our reality, like on whatever level physically. I need to be able to map it in my mind, but that's allowed me to now lead you all on this journey where we're really like super trekking into new territory. And I appreciate all the comments. Yeah, it's great when you all bring things to my awareness that are part of this journey too. I'm like, hey, what about this? So feel free to keep doing that in the comments or however you want to reach me. And yeah, Hannah in the light at proton.me is my email. And yeah, I definitely am so grateful to be on this journey with you all. I feel like that should be it for now. Let me know what you think about Planck constant, and look forward to like going over that more in depth, the aspects of like, and actually like working with it is really going to be the easiest way to do that, because then we get the feel for what we're actually trying to accomplish and actually describing something in time and space and with energy and whatnot. So that will be coming soon on the menu. Love you all so much. Thank you again for being here. Till next time. Enjoying soaring high as we seek out new beautiful truth and the light of the truth, that sparkling light. Just loving the sun behind me. Really appreciating the sun lately. Okay, love you all so much. Take care.